Everybody, it's Tim, Horror Movie Yearbook. I'm joined by my fellow co-host, my lovely co-host.
I'm Willie. I'm here.
Oh, we didn't test out, but guess what? Well, the microphones are on. We're good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's nice. You know what is not good?
What's that?
Have you seen the pictures of the frickin' NFL draft downtown in Detroit?
Yeah, so my wife showed me before. So my wife has a bachelorette party downtown Saturday, but I think that's the last day of the draft.
Oh my God.
But the Tigers are in town too. It's going to be a nightmare down there, even on Saturday. I think Saturday's the last day of the draft because they did that flyover. She showed me a flyover, and there are 150,000 people in downtown Detroit.
It's like my hell. Like that is the worst possible scenario you could put me in.
Yeah,
I'd rather be eaten by sharks, I think, than.
Is it
around...
that many? Is it that many people? Like you just,
yes.
Or is it just drunken sports fans in general?
Both. It could be that many like friendly people, and I don't think I would like it.
Yeah,
it's too many people. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I think the difference is like I can handle stuff like that. Like if I go to a concert or a wrestling show or even on a much smaller scale like a movie, I have my seat. It's my space. It's my spot that I paid for, and it's my safe spot. You know, to just the idea of just like going downtown. This nebulous.
You just kind of like wander and just kind of.
It sounds awful
because you know there are not 150,000 seats down there.
No,
there are select seats, and then the rest of the people are probably just like hanging out.
Yeah,
waiting for their team to pick.
Yeah, it sounds.
That's the
awful.
other thing too. Is like you've got different fans from different teams.
Yeah,
you know they're going to be. Oh, this is going to get wild.
Yep, and people are like you said drinking a lot. I don't. Yeah, nope. I'm good. Nope.
Yeah, that
also watch the draft.
I'm not. Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
the thing.
It.
We know somebody that is like. I don't think he does it anymore. He used to take the day off. Oh, you know what? He might.
Oh.
He used to take the second day of the draft off.
Do we work with this person?
Yes, we do. Yes. We've worked with this person for a long time.
Yes.
Including different jobs.
Yes.
But he would like order wings and stuff for the next day.
That's great.
Yeah. And he just like sit there all day.
But he did it at home.
He did do it at home, and as you know, this person, he does most things at home.
Yes. And that's great. He's either at home or like in Greece. Like there's it's one or the other. Like
you can't get him to leave the house really to do anything
unless it's an international flight, and then he'll go. I'm pretty sure he listens.
Yeah, every once in a while he does.
So,
I know that. Yeah.
Love you, buddy. Yeah, that sounds like the absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I've never been a big NFL draft guy.
No. Speaking of nightmares, nice segue. There was a rumor that our topic for the evening, that the ending of the show was going to be It Was All a Nightmare. Of course, we'll be talking about The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
We're doing something that I think I brought up to you at some point not too long back, where I thought it'd be funny to watch the first entry in a series, whether it be film or TV, and then watch the last entry in the series. And the less we knew about the stuff in between, the funnier, hopefully, it would be. Trying to parcel some sort of, or piece together some sort of narrative for why things have changed. When a show runs for 11 seasons, things are going to change. And I think that's very apparent.
Boy, do they in this one.
I think it's very apparent. And I think we're going to try our best not to bring in any sort of behind-the-scenes info we have about things that happened. I think it's going to be tough not to mention Darabont.
I kind of want to talk about that anyway.
I think we should.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try my best. I watched the first... We'll get into it. But we're talking about The Walking Dead, the series premiere, and the series finale tonight. Very interesting stuff. And I want to see, at the end of our discussion here about these two episodes of the show, I would like to get a feel for if you would go on and say, I'm going to go ahead and watch this show all the way through. I want to see the middle Did they sell you based on these 2 hours of television? Did they sell you on whatever happens in between?
I'm really excited to dig into this show with you. Yes, because
that being said, before we dig into The Walking Dead, do we have any sort of plugs we want to make?
Yeah, let's plug some stuff. Yes. So let's start with the Game Nerds, the Midwest Game Nerds. They just released, I think, an hour of reviewing I believe the entirety of the Fallout series. I have not checked it out yet. Because
Amazon Prime, right?
Amazon Prime's Fallout. I have only watched the first episode, so I kind of told you about this. We were talking the other day. So I had it I had heard good things about the Fallout show. I don't know Fallout, but I like the cast. I like Walton Goggins a lot, and it looked cool. It looked like a lot of fun. So I'm like, you know what? This weekend, this is going to be my weekend show. On my downtime, I'm going to watch Fallout. And so Friday night, I booted it up. And I made it till about 30 minutes left, and I woke up, and I was halfway through the next episode when I woke up, and I go, whoa, what the hell happened here? So I wake up, and I do what I always do when I wake up. I look at the clock, and I go, all right, I'm awake. I'm going to finish the last 30 minutes. I go back to where I start. I go 20, 30 minutes left, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm out, and then I'm I'm to the end credits of the first season. I go, God, what the hell? What the hell is happening? So I finally finished the first episode, and that is as far as I've made it to the Fallout show. I finished it the next morning, and I was like, this is good, but I don't have the time right now. This might be, you know what? I might do my own weekly watch of this. I might throw on another episode this week.
I find I'm more able to commit to a show when I watch it weekly. Even if it's not released weekly, I find myself more
at your own pace, at least.
Yeah, because it's tough. I mean, one of the fun things about, in my personal opinion, one of the fun things about our journey on the show as co-hosts and as friends is when we started this show, Josie was not born, right?
Yeah, no. No, it'd be
Nikki wasn't even pregnant.
No,
2016?
Yeah, 2016 is when we started this.
So we've now traveled through this, I've gone through the early days of having a kid, and now you are going through, you've been around over a year now, so, but it's fun. It's kind of fun to see, the stuff I feel bad, but, the stuff I was coming to grips with back then, I'm seeing you do now, and I'm like, okay, I remember this. It's
pretty much every movie at this point turns into a web series. I get 15 minutes at a time. I'm let me knock this one out in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah, it's weird. It makes me wonder how it affects my opinion of the movies sometimes. When I watch it in seven sections, as opposed to watching an hour and a half of a movie. Josie did watch some Overlord. I didn't
Good. Yeah. Well, yeah. I held my son in my arms while I watched it. He was asleep, but yes.
She came in and she's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "I got to finish this movie for the podcast." She goes, "Can I watch?" I'm like, "Probably not." She goes, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's for adults." And she goes, "Is it scary?" And I said, "It might be." And she's she sat laid down in bed next to me.
Yeah.
And we're watching, and I'm like, I don't know what I should do right now. I'm like, "Are you scared?" She goes, "No." I said, "All right, this is pretend, right?" And she goes, yeah. I said, "The guy's got makeup on, the zombie guy's got makeup on." She goes, "Yeah, he's funny." All right, I guess you can hang out and watch. I don't know what to do here. If you can handle it, I said, if you get scared, you just got to tell me.
Right.
So
good.
I felt a little bit skeevy about it, but I'm like, if she can handle it, I guess I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's a weird one. That's a weird one. You haven't hit that point yet. It's a weird one.
Yes.
But I really haven't had to deal with that because I've just been kind of I don't watch that stuff.
Yes. Well,
if I watch it, it's on my phone with my headphones in. And the once or twice she's come around, I've been like, "Oh, can I see this?" And I just pull up some random music video on YouTube, and I'm like, "Oh, this is what I was watching." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, watch the video for
here,
Aha's Take on Me.
Till I hear from you by the gin blossoms.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. This is what I've been watching. Not this thing. Anyway, so fun to navigate that.
Midwest Game Nerds, check them out. One more plug. Let's plug something I'm doing for this podcast. On YouTube, I've been doing some videos. I'm still working through the kinks, but it's basically me just talking about stuff that's coming out that week, releases. And then I also today recorded an honor roll episode. I was doing this
been a while.
It's been 2 years now, but I was sitting around, so I was doing these YouTube videos and going over all these movies, and I'm like, I want to watch some of these, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not doing it like I used to. I was doing it like every week or two. Before.
Yeah.
This is basically, I'm gonna watch 5 new releases, and when I get through 5, I will record something
whenever it happens.
But I enjoyed it. It's a way, and I'm not gonna like.
When you get through 5 web series, you'll be.
Yes. So I'm not gonna do like standard reviews of these a lot of the time.
Sure.
But like for this, and I'm pretty happy with this one. So it's on a Patreon. By the time you hear this, it should be out. But like I talked about Night Swim a little bit, but I also talked about I spent a lot of time talking about the kind of how underwhelming the start of the year for horror at the box office has been.
Yeah, Abigail didn't do as well as they were hoping, right?
Right.
That's a bummer.
Same thing. And Night Swim, then the reason I talked about with Night Swim is Night Swim kind of underwhelmed too. But I also, I'm talking some people off the ledge here because I've seen some takes in like reputable magazines too. There's, I think it's Puck. It's kind of like an entertainment, kind of like a Variety.
Sure.
And they talked about how studios are going to back off horror because of this. And I sat there and I looked at this and I kind of compared it to last year and I went, well, you know what? A lot of the big stuff is still to come.
It is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the original stuff last year did pretty good.
Yeah.
Smile did really well, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, that's a good example because Smile 2 is coming out later this year. So, like, the thing is, I think if we're comparing it to the beginning of last year, you had, like, Scream 6 and Megan that, like, blew up. But we haven't hit, like, Alien... Romulus, thank you.
Yeah.
That's still coming out. We've got the Quiet Place. So I'm trying to talk people off the ledge, and I'm also letting people know that, you know what, sometimes like I think we're gonna look back at the last few years as like a horror boom box office wise.
Yes.
And like mainstream wise.
And if we go through one of those ebbs or flows like coming up here, then it is what it is. Like these things happen.
Yes.
If mainstream studio horror does not deliver financially and they kind of back off of that genre, it's only temporary.
Yep.
And all it means is that we're going to get more opportunities for smaller indie horror.
Yep.
It's all good.
So yeah, I talked about that, and then I mentioned Festival of Living Dead, that Soska Sister movies, but I use that as an opportunity to talk about like the history of Night of the Living Dead in the public domain, how that happened, and how it's how many sequels and remakes and stuff.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So sad how it all.
Yes, and then I realized like, as bad as that Festival of Living Dead one, it's probably one of the better ones out there because it's at least
there's some bad ones.
There's some bad ones.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's it. I kind of use it to talk about bigger picture stuff. It'll be out on the main feed next week, but it's on our Patreon now. So I just wanted to plug that because I was pretty happy with it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I don't know how you find the time or energy to do these things.
I'll tell you off air. Let's keep it off.
Okay.
Yes.
No, in all seriousness, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What do you got? You got any plugs? You got a wrestling show coming up?
Yeah,
right?
I got a couple coming up. I got one coming up in Lincoln Park. We are doing this is our second benefit show for an organization out of Lincoln Park called Luna's Helping Hands. They do a lot of really good work in the Downriver area in Michigan. That'll be May 3rd at the Lincoln Park Band Shell. I'm excited for that one. Dakota
Luna, that's
Luna,
like next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Next weekend? Yeah.
Is that really?
I believe that's next Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing commentary next Saturday. Next Friday.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. Wow. It's all a revelation for me.
Well, good thing I'm here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But no, that'll be really cool. I'm excited to do that because the guy who runs the organization is a really nice guy, and he's going through some tough times right now.
Gotcha.
So he's battling leukemia, and I think it'll be a good show. I'm really excited for it. And one of my favorite, I'm supposed to remain impartial. One of my favorite SCW talent is from Lincoln Park, and he gets that really great hometown fire behind him. So I'm excited to see him.
Very nice.
Him do it. But and then we've got another. We're turning to. I'm going to try to get you to this one.
Okay, you're going to be in Berkeley.
Back in Berkeley. Yep.
Okay.
May 17th.
I will not be able to make that one. I am throwing a bachelor party that weekend.
Oh my gosh.
For my brother. So.
I'm sorry. What? He's getting married?
My brother's getting married in June. Yeah. Yes.
How do we not talk about this?
I don't know.
You and I just talk about bullshit. Like
that's kind of yeah.
This is the best. So can I just? My wife Nikki, who you've heard her voice. We should get her back on the show, by the way. On the show.
Yeah. Well, she's finishing Pet Sematary tonight. She made sure to tell me.
We should have her. Yeah. She always gets annoyed at me. Not annoyed at me, but it's just like what? Like when I don't have important information about like conversations I've had.
Right.
But I have like, we just talked about, the timetable for Kenny Omega's return. like, she's like, you didn't tell me.
I always get like, I'll be texting a friend and she's like, hey, how's he doing? I'm like, I don't know. We're texting about fucking bullshit. Like,
I don't want to talk about that.
What do you want me to ask?
He's fine. What are you asking? Why are you going to ask me that?
How you feeling? Like, how's life going? No, just texting about whatever game or wrrestling shit.
Yeah, I want to talk about comic books. Anyway, so we got another show. So you will not be there. I'm sad to hear that. But we've got May 17th in Berkeley. Maybe I'll get you to the June show.
Berkeley?
No.
Okay.
Royal Oak.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Modern Skate and Surf.
Okay.
So I'll try and get you that one.
Okay.
Yep. But got those coming up. And other than that, no, nothing too crazy. Just same old stuff.
There you go. See, and now we're here to talk about what you and I want to talk about, which is
we really want to talk about
a 14-year-old TV show.
That's right.
That's right. That one of us has seen half of probably, and the other has seen 5 episodes of.
Should I preface like what I've seen here? I think I should like lead with this real quick, or
let's okay. So let's do this. Let's hop in the time machine.
Let's do that. We're hopping back to
October 31st, 2010.
Oh my.
Yeah. So, because like I want to reminisce a little bit here. Yeah.
Wow. So, I remember where I watched this premiere.
Yeah. Let's talk about. You know what? Yeah. Let's talk about our first like memories of watching this and what like when we did. Yeah. October 31st, 2010.
I had been reading the comic since about a year after the first issue was released, so I was an early adopter of The Walking Dead.
Were you on a podcast?
I was.
I thought so.
The first podcast I ever was a part of was The Walking Dead podcast.
Was that post-TV show?
It was leading up to
I came
the
over
first
to
episode.
Your house one time to hang out. And it was I think it was one of the first times I hung out with you. And you were, I think when I came over, you were going to record that night or were recording that night.
Wrapping up?
Yes.
Yeah. If I remember right, those guys were a couple hours behind us.
Okay.
So those were late nights for me, those ones. Yeah, man, that was cool. It was just like, I loved those comics so much, and I was so excited for the show. I was excited because I liked the comics, but I was also excited because I was always like, I've been searching for a couple of years for like the Lost Killer.
The Lost Killer. Explain what you mean by that.
I had not found a show, despite my efforts, and quite frankly, network TV's efforts, to find a replacement for the void that was left behind when Lost ended its run in 2006. 7?
I think that was closer to this, but continue.
I could be wrong. But I had been searching for that, and I thought
it was 2010. It was May 23rd, 2010.
Okay, never mind.
Yep.
So I've been like, I want to find them. Yes. So I guess it was after. But
no, I know you mean. You were looking for a replacement. I
wanted to find
Lost.
that show that was that event show for me. This is the show I'm going to watch
and obsess over.
Yeah, and I'm like, and that last 2 seasons of Lost, I had every single week, we had 5 or 6 people at the house watching Lost. And then we'd spend an hour afterwards just like shooting the shit about it.
Okay.
Like it was like an event thing for us.
Yeah.
We had a themed party for the finale at the house. We decorated the whole house like the island. I hand-painted a polar bear with a Dharma logo. Like I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Embarrassingly so. And I wanted to find that next show, and I loved the comics so much, and I saw like Darragh Bonson involved. The cast is shaping up. I was like, this could be the one. And I wound up listening to this podcast, and I was like, "Do you guys ever want to do like? Do you want somebody to do like episode recaps, like not on the podcast, but for the website?" And so I did episode recaps, and then they were like, "Hey, you want to come on?" And I was like, "Yeah," and that was it. That was the. I started doing the podcast with these other guys.
So I just
they called me. My nickname on the show was the Wilf. Like the wolf, but the Wilf.
Maybe there are some younger listeners who don't remember because this would have been early-ish days of podcasting in some ways. I think podcasts have been around for a few, but this is before that boom. Because now we're on the other side of that boom. Where
we're the only time minus like very rare occasions, like basically. Already famous people are the ones making money on podcasts. Like
even then, like you could see like them giving up.
Yeah,
like
it's not worth the time.
It's not worth the time, but they're not making the money that they used to because the bubble has burst in a lot of ways. But yeah, that is like a good example, and that's how we do things too. It's just like, hey, you love something, you want to talk about it.
Yep.
Like let's talk about it for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Let's record it and see who will listen. Yeah.
And I did that for I want to say. The first 2 seasons I was on the show, and maybe some of season 3, and then I was like, I just wasn't into the show anymore, and I just kind of went, guys, like I'm just not as dedicated to it, and they continued, I think, for a long time, and I kind of jumped off, and that was when I had conversations with the founder. I said, I loved doing that, but I want to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And we just brainstormed, and then Film Nerds was born. So yeah, it all started with the walking. That's crazy. Like, strangely enough.
Do you ever find that Lost Killer? By the way.
Nope, never found it. I thought I had it in Game of Thrones. I thought it was darn close, but it never quite hit that.
What about that first season of True Detective? I guess that doesn't really.
I didn't watch it live.
Okay.
I didn't watch it until it was on DVD.
Okay.
So, for me it wasn't.
Okay.
But I never found it.
I can't remember. Yeah, I'm honestly, now that I think about it, I can't remember the last show, but all of the shows I obsessed over were around that same time period because like Battlestar was on.
Yeah. That was This
is going to sound weird, but like I watched so much Scrubs.
Sure.
That's
okay. That's yeah.
And so like maybe
it's an age thing.
Different show. I think it is. You know what I think it is? I think it's like
right show, right time.
Priorities in life at the time too. Like
that could be it too.
What you're thinking about. So
because I like other shows that like there's plenty of shows that for me are like when the new season comes out, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai. Like I love Cobra Kai. Yeah. Like Stranger Things is another one.
But you're not like obsessing over every detail.
No, I'm not. No. It doesn't. I have not found that. I might never again. That's fine. But yeah, I never. Game of Thrones was close. We had people over for the first chunk of that show, and then it kind of for me kind of fizzled. But yeah.
So you were a fan of the comics. What did you think? You know what? Let me do me real quick.
Yeah, please.
I'll say like how because I didn't watch the show live. Like I remember
when it premiered.
When it premiered, yes. Okay. So it would have premiered on Halloween that year of 2010. I think we would have known each other at that point.
Yeah.
But I watched this on DVD, like because it came out later on like DVD, I think.
Yeah, and that first season's like six episodes,
and it's all the Darabont stuff. Yeah. And so I watched that season, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. And then by the time the second season came out, because the second season was the next year, I think 2012 it would have been. So I think it was a little later. And oh man, let's not get too personal here. I was living elsewhere when that season came out.
You're in Indiana at that point,
yes,
right?
Yes. And I met plenty of fine folk in Indiana. I was the problem in Indiana. Yes.
I think, your breaking point, I think, for Indiana was when you text me and said, I'm eating, what was it? Peanut butter. You were dipping something in peanut butter.
I was dipping
Triscuits?
Not even, what the Wheat Thins.
Yeah. And you were like, I got to get out of here. So I remember you texting me, I had played save, my low point
was what I realized. Like, I've been playing the same level of trying to be the same level of Star Fox Adventures for like it's the snowboarding level or not snowboard, the snowmobile.
It's awful.
I could
Great
not
game.
with
Terrible
the
area.
I could not with the rest. It's like early in the game, and like I've been playing this for hours. Like, what am I doing?
Did you ever finish it?
No.
We should make that happen.
Yes, maybe. You know what? Maybe that's like a concrete, like a low point in my life that I can go back and conquer.
Dude, that's something you can actually like finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I did not have cable at the time. And I did not have any way to watch it live, and so I just kind of fell out of it like immediately. I also fell out of it a little bit, and we're going to talk about it when we talk about the pilot, because nothing in those next 5 episodes really grabbed me like that first episode. And I think there's some good stuff, and we'll talk about that later too.
Sure.
But like, so like I am coming into this with really no like frame of reference or context or anything. When I watch this, except for I remember that first episode, and it's hard not to remember this first episode because man, like there's stuff that is in terms of like horror imagery is iconic.
It's let's just get into it. I think right. The pilot of The Walking Dead is one of, if not the best pilots period ever, all time for me. It's so good.
What would you rank next to it, do you think? Like Lost? The Lost pilot?
The Lost pilot's really great.
Yeah.
The Game of Thrones pilot's really great.
Yes. Should we explain? So, like, I don't even know. They don't really have pilots anymore, but pilots are like the first episode of a show that, like, sells the rest of the show a lot. That's how they used to do it. Like, they used to film a pilot.
Sometimes they'd reshoot a pilot.
Yes, sometimes, and like some of the best shows, like Star Trek, they reshot the pilot
with different actors and
Firefly,
roles.
they reshot that, or did they reshoot the pilot, or did they change the first episode?
I don't remember with the founder would know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll let us know.
Yes. So yeah, that was. But nowadays, like
Buffy's got a good pilot.
Yes, Buffy does have a good pilot. It's a 2-parter. Friday Night Lights has one that I've
really good pilot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
Some of the
think of other ones that
like the Mad Men has a really good pilot, and that's another AMC show. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly explain, because nowadays with streaming, like the first season is a pilot. You're like,
it's everything's kind of stretched out.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Which is not my favorite.
This thing is like, if you watch one episode and you go, I don't really like this, it's only 40 minutes of your time. If you watch a season and you're like, I don't really like this.
Yellow Jackets is a really good pilot.
Yes.
All right, that's another one that I really like. But this is like, for me, I always think of this and Lost. I was like, I mean, hooked.
They're both, and once again, this is like something of the time. You didn't get a lot of this. They're movies on TV.
Yes.
Is what the Lost pilot and this pilot 100%. Are. Yeah.
That's the real similarity there. It's basically like it's more or less a faithful adaptation of the comic and how it opens.
Yeah.
There's certainly, little things that deviate. But I mean, all that iconic, the basic point and the following of Rick kind of figuring out what's going on, waking up from a coma, riding the horse down the desolate highway, all that stuff is straight out of the comic. And I think in both instances where we're talking about Lost and Walking Dead, they both feel very cinematic, and they both feel very, very big screen, because you've got J.J. Abrams behind Lost, who at the time was not J.J. Abrams necessarily. I mean, he was a name at that point in time, but he was not what he has become, I guess.
Yes.
But still, clearly the guy had an eye for film and cinema and that big spectacle. And then
I've liked a lot of his stuff, but I would still argue that is the best thing he's ever directed.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, it is. It's the best. And then with The Walking Dead, you get Frank Darabont.
Yeah.
Who, as far as like if you're gonna pick somebody out of a lineup for like who should be show running / directing, blah blah, The Walking Dead, like he's kind of like that makes more sense than any other creator. I think it just fits. It feels right. It's a great marriage, and it works really, really well, particularly in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. Well, I don't want to talk too much about what comes after because this is more of a first and last. But I do think the Darabont factor dwindles off throughout the course of his run on the show. He was around for the first half of season 2 as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Before, I think this show in 11 years went through 5 showrunners, which is a lot.
Yes.
I think 4 of them were in the first 4 years.
That's right. Okay, I remember at a certain point, because I would follow it from afar. Being a horror fan and being a fan of TV in general, I wasn't watching it, but I would keep up. And it was hard not to because it was such a phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it's still very popular, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The shows still do well, the spin-off shows and stuff.
That one show, I mean, for a
live... You watched
live...
the Daryl one, right?
I watched the Daryl one.
It was pretty good.
You know what? I liked it, and honestly, you can pick up and just watch it. It's like a 6-episode.
I heard the
people like the Rick and
I heard
Michonne,
that was really good.
And that was when I was because for a live show like that, I think it was like the ratings for that one were like under 1 million people, which is a far cry from Walking Dead in its prime. But when you compare it to like the rest of TV, especially scripted television, like
really good.
I think just Yellowstone beats it at this point. Like,
well, Yellowstone is
like that's so like I'm using that as like, yeah, you know what? It's not the phenomenon it was, but like AMC is still using The Walking Dead to sell a streaming service. Like because it's built around
the numbers are down. Everywhere. So it's like the prices for things go up and then the TV numbers go down. I mean, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
Less people can afford to watch that shit.
But you know what? Like they have built that streaming service around those Walking Dead.
Good for them.
Yeah, and they're not building it around Mad Men. You know what I mean?
People like zombie stuff.
Yeah, yes.
The bubble did burst. We're past the bubble bursting.
And it was. I think a lot of it was around this time, wasn't it?
It was a few years into this show where it finally...
Yes.
This show rode the zombie craze for a while. And then kind of became the zombie craze for a while. I think once it became became the one, then things eventually started to... Because for me, and I'm just going to say, like, so I watched the first 3 seasons live as they aired.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going into this as blind as you are. In all fairness, I'm not. I'll try to bring as little of that as I can into kind of as we talk about like what the hell happened. But I did watch. I've seen 6 seasons of this show at some point because I watched other ones on Netflix. I just binge watched them.
Yep.
In the background mostly.
Yep.
So I'm still very foggy on things, but I'm aware of characters and some of their origins that we see in that last episode that are not even.
Because you read quite a bit of the comics too, right? You made it up to issue 100.
And that doesn't hurt either, having some of that knowledge. There's some similarities in a lot of ways, but it does deviate more as it goes on. But yeah. Anyway,
the most popular character on the show is not even in the comics.
Correct.
I would say that Daryl's the most popular character on the show, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We used to joke and call it the Walking Daryl, which I still would call it the Walking Daryl.
So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about like the actual like pilot itself. The first episode itself. Days Gone By is what it's called.
The name of the first trade.
Yes. And is that the name of the first episode?
Yes. Okay. First episode. Yeah. They used a lot of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The episode names were based on the some of the trade names.
So what I think works so well about this is there are a couple things. I think, and this is going to sound weird to say, but I think the violence still works really well because it's not insanely gory. That would come actually later in the first season. Guts is the episode I'm thinking of.
There's a couple like later on
yes.
that get like. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But this starts, the first scene of this episode is he shoots a little girl in the head.
Yeah, and it's a mission statement.
It is. And
this is Darabont saying, this is the kind of show we're showing you.
Yes.
If you thought we were going to water this down because it's on basic cable, you're very wrong. And
that's a good point, too, because TV had started getting more violent at that point because of a lot of that CSI stuff, actually, is violent.
Well, yeah, a lot of the network TV even was getting more violent and more grotesque, and like some of the shit they say on like Law and Order is way nastier than anything you'll see in The Walking Dead.
Absolutely.
But you're right. This was a time when like basic cable shows, not just shows like The Walking Dead, but like comedy shows like Always Sunny, were pushing we're pushing the boundaries of what you could get away with on basic cable.
Yep.
And so,
because here's the thing with basic cable, you can get away with pretty much anything you want. You can say the reason people didn't do it before these shows is because of advertisers. Now that started to go away as things like streaming and DVD and like binge watching and on demand.
They can make money elsewhere.
They could make money elsewhere, and they were less worried about offending advertisers because, and that was South Park. South Park said we're gonna say like have an what was it, shit? They were gonna say shit on TV, a shit counter, and like that was basically them saying like, yeah, you know what, we're making enough money elsewhere. We're putting our stuff on SouthPark.com or whatever.
And some of the advertisers went, you know what, okay.
Yes, because guess what?
Like Domino's is like, we'll advertise on Walking Dead. Like, all right, like, well, what are we gonna? It's not gonna hurt us. Like, so no, for sure. Yeah.
But I do think that violence and that you're right. That's a mission statement.
It is a mission statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I think it does a good job of capturing kind of the bleakness of that book. And I do think it captures just the bleakness of the situation in general and just being trapped in a life that like you can't escape from. Like you're going to die.
Yeah, violently, probably. Yeah, no, it's it really does. Andrew Lincoln's really good.
Very good.
Really, really, really good.
It hit me this time watching it.
He just, because like,
I'm gonna be honest, I was more of a Shane guy back in the day.
Well, Berthol's amazing.
Yes, and like that first season, like Shane was the one that was like doing stuff.
Rick,
too.
you're a dork. Like, cut it out. Yeah, no, I get it.
Because Rick was a waffler too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
and
Shane got stuff done.
He gets work done. But he's also a psychopath. But he gets work done. But the thing, like Lincoln, I think what people don't. I always see people like kind of goof about Lincoln because like he has to do a lot of like yelling Carl a lot throughout the course of the show, which is funny. But like he has to do so much on his own in this first episode. Like he interacts with like two other actors basically, like post-apocalypse. It's the father and son.
Yeah.
Who are also Lenny James is like. That
stuff is
out of this world.
Good.
It's so good. Here's the thing too: is like this pilot. So it's funny. What's funny is the pilot and the finale are both very indicative of what the show was trying to accomplish from day one, all the way through its run.
Yep.
The success rate of what it was trying to accomplish changed as the show went on, and I started to tune out as I thought the success rate was going down. The show was always a balance between horror, just pure horror, and borderline like nihilism, like very dark, nasty stuff.
Yep.
Against real human characters with these really beautiful kind of vignettes of humanity strewn throughout. And some of those characters were going to end, like, they would get their happy endings or their moments of joy at least. And some of those characters would not, because that's life, right? And it kind of worked in the comic, and it works in the show early on. This pilot is like the perfect balance. For me, personally. Yeah. You get the insane action at the end of the episode with like the horses getting ripped apart and eaten, and he turns that corner and there's a billion zombies. And like,
oh my God, that shot is good.
So sweet. And the look on his face.
I'm thinking, like, the big city zombie stuff, like, you can only do that in a big city because they're hidden behind those giant buildings. Yeah, it's so good. Sorry, like, you bring that up, like...
No, that shot is incredible.
When I was watching it again, I had not seen it in 14 years. I have not seen this episode in 14 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember going, oh my God.
It's, like, stunning. Like,
I was taken aback by how good that part is.
And it's one of those rare moments, like at this point, like, by the time the show came out, I think like you and I probably were both pretty desensitized to zombies.
Yeah.
I mean, like we'd seen all the stuff.
Yeah.
That shot in that moment with him, I was like legitimately like, holy, like I was like on the edge of my seat. I knew Rick was going to live, but I was like, this is like some scary shit. Like
you knew he was going to live, but they put enough doubt in your mind.
Where you're like maybe?
Because that first scene puts doubt in your mind where you go like, oh, like this is what anything goes right now. Like
maybe Darabont's ballsy enough to say,
yeah,
I kind of like Shane better.
Yes. I wanted to touch on one thing too. You were mentioning about the nihilism and Darabont in general. Darabont's perfect for that.
Yes.
Because that's kind of Shawshank in a way is like it gives you enough glimmer of
hope.
There's hope, but you're going to get beaten down to that. I mean, that's the point of Shawshank. You're going to keep digging. You're going to keep digging.
It's the glimmer of hope. That's the thing. It's you're gonna have your happy ending probably, but it's not going to erase all the shit you went through.
Exactly. And so like that's kind of The Walking Dead in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Same, and The Mist is a little like that. Only it's like.
Very nihilistic.
Yes. So, but like that's what I mean is like Darabont's perfect for this story.
He's a perfect choice.
Yeah.
But it's just the stuff with Lenny James and his son, like it. There, I remember watching this live, and part of it is the score because Bear McCreary's score for this first episode. And the show in general, but the first episode is so good.
Bear McCreary is one of my favorite like TV or composers.
He's so good.
His Battlestar stuff, it blew me away.
Unreal.
Yes.
Yeah, his Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. I love Bear McCreary.
He's great. He does a lot of video games too.
Yeah.
But the theme he plays when it actually made me tear up again when I watched it this time, and I'm like, I must just have this like emotional connection with that scene now that like it got me the first time, so now it kind of gets me every time. The scene where Rick takes the time to go back to the lady who was cut in half, and put her out of her misery. Mm-hmm. That music that plays is like perfection. I was still just like, oh my god, this is like good shit. Like that's not in the comic.
Yeah,
like that's very Darabont. Like that moment, and that's what I'm talking about. Like it's such a nasty. Horrifying. You see this woman, and you see like she's been absolutely like decimated by I'm assuming zombies, right? She went through some sort of horrible, painful death. She's crawling around in half, like she's a zombie now. Like, and so it's about as nasty and nihilistic as you can get. But then, like, the moment of, like, sweetness and hope is Rick taking the time to go back and, like, kill her.
Yeah.
And it's, like it kind of makes you, like, feel warm and fuzzy in this weird way. And Darabont's so good at that shit.
Yes.
He's so good at it.
And you know what? One more person we should credit for that is Greg Nicotero.
Yes.
Because I think
my God.
He is one of, you know what? I'm going to say he and probably Andrew Lincoln and then later on, Norman Reedus, though. I think Nicotero is a main reason why this show continued because the stuff he's doing makeup-wise. And you know,
he directed a bunch of really good episodes, too. Yeah.
And
later on.
And like you mentioned, like the makeup and the look, like there's humanity in there.
Even in like this decade,
Yes. So I think he is a huge factor in this, why this show was so successful.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more moment, one little moment, quick
yes.
moment that is similar to that is there's the moment when he's going through, he's escaping the horde of zombies in the city, and there's like the tank.
Yeah.
And and I love how quick this is. He puts the gun up to his mouth, like he's going to shoot himself to save himself from the zombies. And very quickly he realizes above him he can escape through the hatch.
It was like a split-second decision.
So quick, but I love it because like that's how you would be in that moment. It's a split-second decision. You're like 1 second he's like no hope, and the next second he's oh my god hope, and like he jumps up, and there's just I just loved how fast
it's
that was.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's like snap decision. Like literally you're witnessing it in real time. Like a guy who went from I'm dead, mm-hmm. but I'm not gonna I'm going on my own terms. Like he apologizes to his wife and kid, and then like. Yeah, it's so good.
Yep.
This finale for me, or this premiere, I should say. We'll get to the finale. The premiere is like perfect. Mm-hmm. I think the black and white version is even better.
You know what? That's similar to The Mist. This black and white version is my preferred.
Have you seen the black and white Walking Dead?
You know what? I haven't.
I have.
Is that on Netflix? Do you have the DVD?
No, I have the Blu-ray. What they put it on just the Blu-ray.
Okay.
So if you want to, I've got it.
I might take you up on that.
It's
and
really
we'll talk
worth
about
watching.
why later. So
it's worth watching.
So the only other stuff I think we should talk about from the pilot is you do get to meet a little bit of the survivors.
Yeah, we see Shane
and Lori.
Pre and post.
Yeah.
We learn that Shane and Lori are in some sort of
because we do see Shane and Rick early. Yes, we do. It is kind of flashed.
They were partners / friends. Lori's his wife. It seems like since Rick was left in the hospital in his comatose state, Shane and Lori have been surviving together, and they're they're in some sort of romantic relationship. Rick's son Carl, we meet.
We do meet Carl.
We meet a handful of survivors, 3 or 4 people. We don't even get names, I don't think. But there's clearly like a contingent of survivors outside of Atlanta where Rick is trying to journey to based on this idea that the government has created this safe haven for people, which clearly is not the case.
Atlanta, because this is set in Atlanta, very cool setting for this as well, because you've got the big city and you got kind of the country right outside of it. So I've always liked that as well.
And the CDC is in Atlanta, I believe.
That's another good point. So I just wanted to mention, we're going to talk about those characters a little bit later. Actually,
we're barely going to because they're not in the finale.
So do you want to go to the finale now? You got anything else to say about the first episode?
No, it's like even if you have zero interest in The Walking Dead, you do not want to commit to 11 seasons of a show. I get it. I can't commit to 2 most of the time. I think like just the pilot on its own merits is worth watching. Like I would not say that about 90% of shows. Like, why would you ever watch the first episode and then not like keep going if you enjoyed it?
Some of my favorite shows too. Like I love the X-Files. I don't really like the first episode of the X-Files that much. Like I've never.
Yeah, some of those are not great.
Yes.
But man, oh man, like as a piece of just cinema, like it's phenomenal. You don't even have to watch anymore. It's fine. Like if you want to, keep going. By all means, keep going until you're tired of it. If that's 8 years, 11 years, 2 episodes, so be it. Like enjoy whatever run you enjoy of the show, but that first episode is well worth watching. And if you can track down the black and white, it's just that it's just that little bit. I like the color version because like you do get to see more of the viscera and the nastiness, but like the black and white just feels like, I don't know, I like it a lot. Yeah, and the comic was black and white, so. Yes,
let's
finale.
Jump to the finale.
Oh my god!
So okay. So as we mentioned, we're coming in with not a lot. So this is 2022. I think was what the finale date was, right?
12 years.
12 years. This is the 11th season.
Yes.
24 episodes in this 11th season.
Oh my god!
So okay,
that's daunting.
I can't go through the plot here because I don't even know. I could not get.
Well, we can't though because it's so. Here's the thing. Here's what I can gather from what's happening here. Can we talk about this real quick?
You go for it because I can't. Yes.
Norman Reedus is here.
Daryl. Yeah.
I know based on what I've seen, he was around the show early, and people really like him. Mm-hmm. He's here. He's still here. Rick is not here. He's gone. Nor is Shane or Lori. They're not on the show. So the people we met in the first episode are like.
I have no idea who these people are.
No one that we recognize from that first episode is here. So we've had a full cast wipe.
So it's basically horror Grey's Anatomy at this point.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Anyway, so yeah, we're totally like, yeah. But Daryl's here. He's got a little girl was shot, I think.
Yeah, the little girl he's trying to help. Yeah, that's like we opened the episode trying to save her.
Yeah, the zombies are still a problem. She's super important. So my first thought was like, maybe she's like Last of Us, where like she's like the cure or something. Mm-hmm. But I guess they just really like her. I don't know. Was she Rick's daughter then? That's who she is, right? She's Rick's daughter, I think.
Okay,
is what's happening here.
Okay,
maybe.
Just going along with it.
One of the little kids has his sheriff hat though at the end.
Okay.
So he shows up at the end, but we'll get there.
I'm gonna. Well, do I want to look? Do I want to cheat and look?
So I don't know. She says my mom and dad, and then like she kind of waxes nostalgic, and then at the end when Rick shows up and he's like doing that weird "we're the ones who live" thing, which is so silly.
I have. So okay, so they're basically it's like a voiceover. And they go through, we're the ones who live, and it has all the people saying we lived or whatever.
Yeah.
I am such a sucker for stuff like that.
It's really well done. It is.
Yes.
It is. Here's why I say it's silly. Because they announced the spinoff before this finale aired.
So this is the other thing.
So it can't not feel like
this is not really a finale. So like it's kind of a cheat in some ways because it's like it's the last episode of this, but you still have other Walking Dead.
It's the last episode of The Walking Dead,
and these characters are going to continue on in 6-episode shows.
Are you aware of the title of the show we're getting next year?
You're gonna tell me, and it's gonna click with me, but I forgot.
The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol.
Why would they not just call it Daryl? Everybody knows who Daryl Dixon is. Why would you not either call it Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, or just The Walking Dead, The Book of Carol?
Thanks, Tim.
Their audience, like the Walking Dead audience that is left, is so tuned in to that show.
They don't need all that.
Why do you need all that?
It's so sweet.
They know exactly
There's
what
two colons.
Yes.
I have less colons than that show. Anyway, so Daryl's trying to save the girl. I think the girl is Rick's daughter. I'm fairly certain. And some of that is like previous knowledge. There's a daughter, a baby at some point that's a girl. I think that's Rick's daughter.
They probably mention it.
She's very important.
Judith,
her name's
right?
Judith. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it is Judith Grimes.
Okay, so it's Rick's daughter.
She's got this hat. She looks like a little Children of the Corn.
I know.
But I guess that's
Outlander!
That's the way it goes in the Commonwealth.
You gotta do what you gotta do in the Commonwealth. Yeah, the Commonwealth. Apparently we've come far enough in 11 seasons to where we've established some sort of actual civilization, which is great. But they're all wearing like Wish-ordered stormtrooper gear.
It looks like
there's plastic butts.
Like cheap like hockey equipment. Or
they got plastic butts, Tim. You notice that?
What are these? I did not understand these. Like, are these like the army? Is this like the army?
Are they anti-zombie suits?
Well, I think
Can they not bite through the?
I think that's the idea. Is
stuff?
Like they're covering, but they're not covering up everything. I think these zombies.
There's some spandex and shit. Yeah.
So like, I did not. I saw this and then like there's one guy who has a different color. The one guy has a different.
He must
color.
be in charge.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
He seems important. Mercer.
He's the captain. But if I'm a zombie, like that's the first one I'm going to. Are the zombies smarter at this point? I can't remember. They've evolved, right?
Well, they say something about there's something about we can't let the what do they call them?
Is not the Whisperers, right?
No. They can't let the such and such get through. The variants get through.
The variants. So okay, so
very Loki.
There are variants.
But
at this
what
point.
are the variants? Because they all look like zombies to me.
Well, that's the other thing is too. Like they move like the zombies I remember from
there's
the first
zombies,
episode.
right?
Yeah, there weren't
There's
any.
one that has a rock that breaks a window. Is that a variant?
That's what they
because he's got a rock.
So they seemed a little smarter. Like they figured out how to smash, but they could.
But it's only one.
The
rest of them are still.
There's not like a Big Daddy. Like there's no like Big Daddy.
No one's picking up a gun. So what are the variants? I guess at
least not in this episode.
I missed that.
Maybe these are just like normal ones, but I assume the variants are the more evolved of the zombies.
There's got to be, right? They got to do something cool.
At some point, 11 seasons into this show,
you got to mix it up.
There had to have been some smarter zombies.
But there's no running zombies, though, right?
That's the other thing.
Do you see any run?
I did not see any run.
That's the obvious choice, is like make it faster, right?
Yeah.
We've done that before. Here's the other thing.
And honestly, I think that would be kind of cool to have like different types of zombies
mix
on the
it
show.
Up.
Yes.
You know, like, make it like Thank you. Make it like Left 4 Dead, where you got like zombies that do different cool powers and shit.
Yeah. Each one has a different skill set. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. The Commonwealth. We've got a person called the governor in charge.
Is this the same governor from?
No, I know that one
because the governor was like one of the biggest villains
in the comics,
and I think in the show.
On the show, I watched the seasons with the governor on the show. I remember this, and it was pretty not good. But he was on the show. This is a different governor in a different city, not the same city that I saw on those early seasons. She is apparently not cool. She shot a child. I am assuming it's the girl.
Okay, so she shot Judith.
Probably. or she offed another kid? I don't know. I'm not sure. They don't actually really tell you. But there's a moment where Judith is like, "No, Governor, you can change." And I'm like, okay, maybe like that makes sense. Like she shot her. Like she's the one to bring her to. If she can forgive you, then anyone can forgive you. She's done some bad. She's clearly done some bad stuff. Her own people.
But
are
I didn't get the sense that she was as like awful as the governor that I knew.
Yeah, not like megalomaniacal, but like maybe she's like made some bad decisions.
She's like shitty, yeah.
Kind of like a shitty like politician. You know what I almost said. But I like the bit with her trying to like kill herself via zombie. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool.
You know what? There's some stuff I liked in this, and I texted you during it because like the first like 15 minutes is just straight up zombie action.
It's cool. It's sweet.
It's sweet. So like,
there's people getting ripped apart. Dan Fogler gets eaten.
Yes, he does.
He joined the show at some point, I guess. So, star of Take Me Home Tonight, Fanboys, and the Harry Potter spin-off series.
He
Fantastic
is in that.
Beasts.
Yes, he is a fantastic.
I like Fogler.
Yeah, my wife's a big Fanboys fan. She likes Fanboys.
It's a great movie. It's fine. It's not great, but Take Me Home Tonight's all right too. I like Topher, so Topher's been proven right. I'm just saying that. For all you people who shit on Topher Grace, go fuck yourselves. You're wrong.
What was he proven right about? Sorry.
Because do we need?
You can tell me off air.
There was a whole. What was the show on MTV or VH1 that was like behind the show, like like it was like a True Hollywood or whatever.
Okay. True Hollywood Story.
No, it was something else, but
okay.
Similar. And there was this whole thing about, all the late 70s show actors were like, yeah, Topher didn't really like hang with us, and he was kind of like his own, and like he was antisocial and stuff. All those fucking people are turning out to be like absolute garbage human beings, and he was the one who was like, no, I'm not gonna be a Scientologist and rape people. So, no, I'd rather not hang out with you. And so, and I always knew.
You always knew
Topher was the right.
He was a good egg.
Yep.
Topher was a good egg.
Damn straight. Love you, Topher.
Fair enough. By the way, this reminds me. I've got my Spider-Man shirt on. I'm really excited to see because all the Spider-Man movies are playing in theaters.
Sweet.
I'm really excited to see like Gen Z's reaction to Spider-Man 3 because there's a part of me that thinks they're going to love it. Like for whatever reason.
Why is that? Is there a reason?
I think. Is
there a message in the movie that you think they're gonna?
So first of all, I do think there is a message that they will cling to, but I also think I think that emo Parker stuff will hold up for them. I think because it's
kind of nostalgic now.
It's nostalgic and it's silly and like it's played for laughs in the movie.
I
think at the time people weren't ready for that, and I kind of think Gen Z will vibe with.
All right, I like that.
I want to see.
Are you gonna go see it?
No, I wish. Like I kind of Spider-Man 3 is the one I would go see in the theater just because I want to see those.
We should try and make that happen. Me and you.
I will be around next weekend.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, we should get back to the
Yes. Okay. So we're back to the family. So the governor, she's not cool. We know this. She tries to kill herself with a zombie. It's kind of cool, but like she doesn't. The one woman is mad at her, but doesn't kill her. She kills the zombie. She's got a rifle. I remember her from early seasons, Maggie.
Okay.
There's also Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who she also doesn't like because he killed her husband, Glenn.
Okay, so this is Negan, right?
Yes.
So Negan is a character that I remember.
He comes way later on.
He comes, but he was kind of when. Was the show at its peak of popularity around that time? Because it was just like...
It was post-peak.
It was still... But I remember him being a big deal because
he boosted it.
Yeah, because he... maybe he was kind of like a breath of fresh air at the time because
I think so.
And you know what? Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a very charismatic actor.
I like him a lot.
I do too. And but Negan... So like, I only knew him from when like he was the dude with the spiky baseball bat, right?
Yeah, with
like,
the barbed wire.
Around.
Yeah.
Because there's the Chappelle skit from SNL.
That's right.
Yes, that parodied that, and
they they were selling Negan baseball bats in the stores,
and he. Spoilers for the show. He hits Glenn with it, right?
He kills a couple people, I think, in the show. Like, I've seen that episode for sure. I think that. So what's funny is that's where I stopped reading the comic. I was done.
Because that's where the comic kills Glenn, right?
Yes. Okay. And it wasn't because they killed Glenn. It was because they killed Glenn.
I would think people know
for no real reason
for everything at this point. But yes.
For no real reason, in issue 100, just to be like, oh, look, it's a milestone issue. Let's kill Glenn. And I was like, now you're just doing it just to be
mean. Being mean for being sake.
Yeah, and like there's a like they kill him. Like it's not like he just hits him in the head with a baseball bat. He's like hitting him repeatedly and then waiting until he picks his head back up. And at one point his eyeball's dangling out. And the Negan character is like, ha, look at his eyeball. That's fucked up. And he's like begging for his unborn child and his wife. And I'm like, this is horrible. Like I this is not fun anymore. Like there's none of the like I reached a point where I was like, when I'm not having fun reading the comic, I'm kind of done. And I was kind of done. It got so gross and like so overly for me, just like mean for the sake of mean, where I was like, I'm good. We're good. And the show, when we got, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll keep watching. And then they did it, and I'm like,
Stephen Yeun is Glenn, right?
He's so good.
He's one of my favorite
He's so good.
yeah.
He's fantastic. He needs more work.
Yes.
He's in a Marvel movie, but then he's not now apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bummer. Or maybe it's not. Maybe he's like, thank God. But I was not watching regularly, but I was watching the Netflix, like
the binge watching it. Yeah.
And I saw it and I went, yep, here we go again. Like, I just don't. There was no. For me, it was like that. He was kind of the heart of the whole story, and to kill him is fine. Like, it's okay. Like, that makes sense. But the way,
especially on the show, because I think he was leaving around that time too, right?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
I don't know. The way they did it, I remember being like, because they ended a season. Literally, I remember they ended a season with Negan had a baseball bat, and he was playing Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And they ended it with him saying Mo from the perspective of the person who was going to get hit, and then he bashes their heads in, and then the season ended, so you didn't know who it was.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, they predicated people praying people are going to watch the next season based on who's going to get their head bashed in. And I went, this is gross. Like this is the way you're getting your people to tune. Like, people are so bloodthirsty they have to tune in to find out who gets their head bashed in with a baseball bat. I'm good. Like, I don't want to.
And so like
that's gross. I don't want to watch it anymore. And
that's the version of the character I knew, because that broke through to like I said, Saturday Night Live was parodying it at the time. They were parodying that exact scene. And
it became a weird Fight Club thing too, by the way. Like, what I mean by that is like, or Scarface, where like that character was weirdly like
he became
idolized,
yes,
almost. And I'm like, but what's weird is like, I'm sorry, Kirkman, sorry, bud, and also people who worked on the show, sorry. We made him some sort of weird, like, sympathetic character, and he's not.
And when I'm coming in onto this finale, and I'm watching him cry with Lauren Cohen's character,
whose husband
her husband was Glenn, right?
Yeah, she was pregnant with his unborn child when he bashed his.
And I'm sitting here going, like,
this is dumb. It's fucking dumb. This guy should be dead.
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Terrible. Whatever was going on.
I do think that a lot of what you're talking about.
I'm sure there's some in there that.
But I think a lot of that character's popularity is due to Jeffrey D. Morgan's.
Well, he's great.
Yes,
he's great.
I think he's very good.
I'm not like I love, but like, and it sucks because I'm bringing in some of the stuff from the comic and from the show that I saw after the fact. But like, even going just by like the whole premiere finale thing. I can gather this guy brutally killed her husband, and apparently saved her son, but she mentions like him taking a baseball bat and beating him over the head with it. So like, this guy's a bad dude. Like, why are you forgiving him? Like, what could he possibly have done? I don't know. She doesn't forgive him. She even says she doesn't, but like, I don't know. Unearned. Sorry. Maybe it is earned. I didn't watch the. You know, this is the funny part about watching this. Like,
it's not earned for you.
Walking Dead viewers, let us know. Like, is this earned? Because I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
So we've kind of gone through some of the characters. When did Carol show up? By the way, did we talk about her?
She was in the first season.
Was Carol in the first season?
Her and Daryl are the only two.
She's not in the first episode, though, right?
No.
Okay.
Second. Her and Daryl are
Glenn
the only...
shows up the second episode,
yes.
Right? Okay.
So her and Daryl are the only two characters in the finale that were present in the first season.
Daryl's in the first season.
He's in the second episode.
Is it Merle?
Or third.
Michael Rooker, right?
Yes.
Daryl is his son? No.
Little brother.
Okay, and like they're like racist.
Yes, but not anymore apparently.
Daryl is not racist by the end of it.
He seems cool.
But I think Daryl, I can see, and
Merle was the nastier one, I think.
Yeah, and I can
remember right.
Yes,
Rooker was great though.
Rooker's terrific. Speaking of, you know what? The actors in this show, like a lot of them are really good.
I'm going to that convention in Knoxville. Rooker's going to be there. So.
Is he?
I'm spending a lot of money.
Ask him about Mallrats. I bet you people like. I bet you there are some people who do the stink palm thing to him all the time.
I'm sure. He probably goes along with it though.
He's probably like, and then he's like,
yeah, right. Give me the money. yeah, I won't be meeting with her, but it'll be.
But so I do like this is there are some great cast members throughout the course of the show.
Yeah, Ross Marquand is in the.
He's in the finale too.
Yeah, he's around. Which
Michael
is cool.
Cudlitz is not in the
him.
finale, but he's I always liked him.
He dies at some point. I'm assuming
the woman I'm blanking on her name.
No, he gets bashed in by Negan too. No, they do. They do. That's another thing. They came back for this next season after like leading people on with this like whose head is he going to bash in. They knew some people knew the comics, right? This is the grossness of this shit.
Yeah.
They knew some of the audience read the comics. So they knew the audience was expecting Glenn, and that the online discourse is going to be, it's going to be Glenn. Mm-hmm. So they opened that season, he bashes Cudlitz's head in brutally, and then goes, I'm going to get Glenn too, and bashes his head. So it's just mean. It's just, how gross is that? Like, I don't... Sorry.
The lead actress from Star Trek Discovery, Sonequa Martin Green, I believe is her name. She was in the show for a little bit.
She was on the
too.
show for a bit, yep.
Yep. So I just want bringing all these people up because, there's some...
there's some talent.
And they do good work. And we mentioned Andrew Lincoln quite a bit, and I think he's... So, okay. So, Rick...
Terry O'Quinn is on the newest show.
Is he?
He's Terry the main villain on The Ones Who Live.
Terry O'Quinn is on another show I watch with... it's called Resident Alien. It's on Netflix
with
now.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like it's a throwback in some ways to kind of the fun like basic cable shows. It's on Sci-Fi Network, like live, but like no, everybody is kind of caught up with it. It's one of the more popular shows on Netflix at this point because everybody's starting to catch up with it. But it's in its third season, and Terry O'Quinn is on it.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's good.
He's amazing.
Yeah, so that's also got a really fun cast too.
I love Terry.
Linda Hamilton. is in it as well.
I'm gonna watch this. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm gonna watch
it's
this.
a lot of. It's a really
You're the second person to tell me this that I should watch this.
It's
show.
a very light, breezy show.
Good.
And it's just and it's
I need it.
It's a showcase for Alan Tudyk being funny.
If I don't rewatch The Walking Dead in its entirety, I will.
So okay, so we got to talk about Rick here because he shows up at the end. I was not expecting this.
He's at the end.
What is he doing? He's on an island.
He's barefoot around zombies. That seems bad.
Andrew Lincoln leaves the show at one point.
Yeah.
Is it season like 7 or 8?
At some point, yeah.
So
but he's not dead.
But he's not dead. He's just like, see you later.
But he's got a daughter. So why is he out of there? But he had Coral. We call him Coral because that's how he pronounced it. So Coral must have died, right?
One of the classic memes is the Walking Dead Coral.
The shitty dad jokes to Coral. So Coral must have died, right?
I believe he did, yeah.
Okay. But he also was...
I'm sure Negan bashes his head in at one point.
Yeah. Laurie also died.
And then Rick forgives him and leaves his daughter with him. Yeah.
Laurie also died, apparently, because he's not with Laurie, and I think she's dead.
What did you think of Laurie?
Horribly written.
That's what I always felt bad.
The actress is
I always felt bad for the actress because I think that was just a terrible character.
She's not great in the comic. She's worse on the show.
Yeah.
So sorry for Sarah Wayne Callies.
Yeah.
She got it's a good thing she got out while she did because she was like written as just this
that's
total stereotypical wet blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of those characters that you look if you sit back and watch that first season and you're like a writer or in charge, you go, we just gotta kill her. Even
that first episode, she's already you're like
we gotta kill her.
Yeah, this ain't
there's no we got nothing for you.
It's not her fault.
So then Rick hooks up with Michonne at some point in the show.
Yeah, and I think they have a kid because there's a little mixed race child who is wearing the cowboy hat. So I assume that's the son of Michonne and Rick.
Okay,
I think.
Yeah, sure.
Makes sense.
Yes,
it rings true. I mean.
Yes.
They're looking for each other, I guess. He's on a beach with some...
So
why is he barefoot with the zombies, though? That's not a good idea. He's been around for 11 seasons. What are we doing?
But he's been somewhere. He's just finding himself. He's kind of like Luke Skywalker in the last...
Yeah, but the zombie...
He's milking
teeth.
Zombies.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, delicious. She's got some sort of Wakanda armor. Mm-hmm. It looks like Wakanda armor, which is funny because she went on to do... the Black Panther films.
She was in Black Panther, yeah.
She's got this crazy battle armor. I'm like, fuck, where'd you get that shit?
Looks cool.
The horse has armor too.
Yeah, a hell of a lot cooler than the Stormtrooper armor.
It's so dorky. they have plastic asses, Tim.
Designed by Joel Schumacher.
100%. she rides off into a field of zombies looking for him. There's a helicopter yelling at him.
About damn time. He's been gone for 3 seasons, I think.
Has he?
At this point.
That she's looking for him. He's getting captured by a helicopter barefoot. It seems like he escaped from somewhere. Like,
that's right. This is
back.
okay. The helicopter shows up, right?
Yeah, consignee Grimes, they call him. Consignee.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a prisoner of some sort.
Okay.
Maybe he get broke out of jail.
Do you think he's on some sort of prison island?
I don't know. He's not in good shape, though.
Is this some sort of like no escape?
He's rough, but he has a smirk at the end, like he's got it figured out.
Some sort of surviving the game situation?
Yeah, I like that, yeah. Gladiator, zombie battles. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. I
was very surprised when he showed up. I did not know he was going to show up.
He's got a lot longer hair and a lot bigger beard in the finale than he does in the premiere.
Yes. Seems like he's seen some...
He's seen
when
some
you
shit.
grow long hair and a beard, you've seen some shit.
Dude, he was in like 8 seasons of this show. He's seen some shit.
So that's, I guess, and that's the thing with this finale. It's not really a finale because it starts setting up what's coming after.
There's an absurd amount of hugging. They play Landslide.
They play Landslide and Cult of Personality.
Deep cuts.
Yeah, what did you think of the Landslide? You said, good song. Have you ever heard the Smashing Pumpkins version of that song?
I don't like it. But yes, I have. They play Landslide. It's kind of like it's low-hanging fruit. But it's a great song, so it works. They hug a lot. They eat some food. They have a Thanksgiving dinner, which is great.
They do.
Everybody seems pretty happy. The one lady died. She got bit, which is sad, I think. Everybody seems pretty upset about it. I don't know what's going on with her.
Oh, there's
Rosita.
Is the preacher dude. What's my man? The preacher Ezekiel?
So that was her child?
Yeah.
His child?
Maybe.
That was another mixed-race child.
Okay.
It seemed that way.
Yeah.
That she gave birth to.
Mm-hmm.
And he seemed pretty connected to the child, so I assume they had a thing.
Okay.
But then the chubby guy with the mullet was also pretty upset. So I don't know. Like, I don't think that was his kid. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm going with you.
Maybe there's like a love triangle.
I want to say the preacher dude looked cool. He was like blind in one eye, right?
Yeah, he was cool. I remember him from the show.
Oh, did he show up earlier?
Yeah, he was a pacifist, but he had a gun in this one, so he must have changed his ways.
I like how the preacher becomes more violent, and then Negan becomes more of the pacifist.
Yeah, hey, maybe that's what it's all about. Yeah, she has a kid, but she also dies, so she gets a bite because she has the baby Bjorn.
Okay.
And she falls in the another. Yeah, they also have superpowers. That human characters.
Yeah.
Because that first season, like, if you were encountered by like 5 or 6 tops, you were like had to like you were in legitimate danger.
Yeah.
She falls.
Oh, that's right.
At least 1 or 2 stories onto cement with a baby Bjorn and a loaded baby into a pit of.
How old is this baby, by the way? Is it like...
That thing's like screaming. It's like a newborn.
That baby's not going to survive.
It's a baby Bjorn. It's like a year-old max.
Yeah.
She falls into the. You're not carrying around Wyatt and a baby Bjorn.
I do sometimes, actually.
Okay, so let's say she's 2 max.
Okay.
Baby.
Yeah.
Probably less than 2.
Yeah.
Really. Let's say a year.
I couldn't tell by yet, but
a year seems right.
I'm just saying that, like, if that baby is young enough to, did that baby have neck control at that point? Do you think?
I'm thinking some neck control.
Okay, because like if that baby
the neck didn't break. Let's say the baby's strong enough to sustain.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, she falls. Let's say a story. I'm giving this so much benefit of the doubt. She falls a story. Flat back on the cement, and is surrounded by like 100 zombies, and they're like lunch, and somehow she like. Hulkamaniacs out of the she literally goes like this,
yeah,
and they like spread like the fucking Red Sea,
and
it makes no sense.
So like when I put on the baby Bjorn, it's like I need to do the dishes.
Do you get powers when you do it?
Well, no, it's just me. I need to do the dishes.
Yeah,
and like I've got my son, and like I'm like I don't want him like walking around the kitchen or like next to the dishwasher.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like I can still load you in this thing. Let's do this. I'm not like running from zombies.
Bjorn him.
Yes,
but if you fell. From like a single story building onto your back on cement, and then 100 cannibals.
First of all, yeah,
adult cannibals were like, "I'm gonna eat you now," with the baby on your chest, you probably wouldn't be all right.
I'm not all right, and my son's not all right.
You're both dead.
Yes.
In the first season of this show, that would have happened. They would have ate the baby.
Yes.
Yeah, Darabont would have been like, they're going to eat that
Or
baby.
Negan would have showed up and bashed it in the head.
Yeah, before the zombies could get to it. Hold on, zombies. Let me smack this thing in the head. I'm just saying, there's some plot armor here, I think, that's developed over the course of... She does die, but...
I guess the question then is, how did this work for you as a finale?
It's not a finale.
Did you watch this and go, hey, maybe I'll finish those last 5 seasons?
What do you mean? So, like, will I go back and watch the old stuff?
Will you go back, will you go back and where you left off, or where you think you left off? No. Okay.
But not because I wouldn't be interested. I would not go back and start off on season 8, 7, 8, whatever I was on.
Okay.
I'd watch it from the premiere.
So you would go from the premiere?
I would do it, yeah.
Okay.
Here's why. 90% of my media content that I ingest at this point is TV. Mm-hmm. That 90%, about 3/4 of that is ingested during my work hours on a phone with my one single headphone in.
Yep.
Well distracted by the fact that I'm actually doing my job.
Right.
This is the perfect show for that.
So
that's I'm sold on it because I might get a solid few months of viewing, of entertainment, and not because I'm not shitting on the show, just my half-assed watching. I might get some consistency out of this for a few months. I'm cool with that. I'm down. Yeah, I'll pay attention when screaming starts. Okay, what do we got? Yeah, what do you got for me? Yeah.
So I
would do it.
So I watched both of these episodes.
Yes. And
both of them kind of and I texted you, I'm like, I might, like you said, this might be kind of a background show, a laundry folder, if you will. Because, and I think people have discovered this recently. Remember Suits? Remember the big phenomenon, the show Suits? People rediscovered it, and this is the Netflix bump a little bit. I think people have kind of rediscovered the super long multi-season show.
Nikki loves them.
Yes, and I think maybe not people have discovered it. People have always liked these shows, but I think the people in charge have remembered, people do like multiple seasons.
They want a 10-season show that
because as you mentioned, TV is a big part of people's lives right now.
Absolutely.
And it has been. And since the pandemic, a lot of people work from home. And when you work from home, you do have a little bit more freedom to do certain things.
I'll watch this at the office. I don't care. I will. I don't care.
I have to, yes. Well, I was going to tell you. Oh, yeah. You were asking me. Never mind. So I do think, but it has become in the streaming era too. And good thing, bad thing, I don't know. But the other thing with horror TV is, and I've always maintained this, I kind of think with horror TV, the shorter is better. And so I've always maintained that horror works best for me in a 90-minute movie. Or a lot of times,
in my opinion, you're right.
And a lot of times, short stories can work. Clive Barker's short stories to me are better than a lot of his novels.
Some of King's short stories are his best work. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So but I'm not saying nothing can work. But I think Walking Dead, and this is kind of want to say to wrap up my feelings on the show in general, just as an outsider, I think it's a victim of its own success in some ways creatively, not monetarily, because it made a ton of money for
sure.
But
it still is, I think. Yeah.
It got so popular. And the other thing, too, is that pilot is so good that I think it got lumped in with a lot of prestige TV at the time and stuff that was on AMC, like Mad Men and Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was ever that show. I don't think it was ever going to be that show.
I think it could have been.
Yeah, but it would have had to have been six episode bursts, in my opinion.
Think if... I could be wrong. I think if Darabont had stuck on...
Okay.
I think there was a chance. I'm not saying he would have done it. There's a chance.
And I guess that what I mean is
they try to be deep in this show.
I just don't... Darabont he's got such a vision. I just don't think he would mesh well with what they were going to do with the show once it became popular, which is make it 22 episodes, 24
That's why
episodes.
He was out. Yeah.
And like he would not, and they were also going to cut the budget because that's what they did. They cut the budget on this show, and they said, we're going to cut the budget. You have to make more of them, which is crazy. So
for somebody like him, he would, yeah.
I just don't think that was ever feasible. I know what you're saying, and I agree.
He got paid all the way through, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. He gets the credit in the finale.
He's not done much since this, has he?
He doesn't have to.
Yeah, he's retired. He's on the island with Rick. Yeah. So
soaking it up.
So, and I think lumping, and the other reason I want to revisit it too is I think lumping Walking Dead in with that prestige TV, I think it does it a little bit of a disservice.
Unfair. Yeah,
I think it's unfair because I think the show is probably good on its own merit. For what it is, what it becomes, and what it's trying to be, because obviously a lot of people like it.
My big thing with The Walking Dead, where I will disagree with you based on my,
I guess you've seen more than me, so yes.
My handful of seasons is that it's trying so hard in the quiet moments, the character-driven moments, to be like, look at us, like we're developing our character. Like they're trying too hard.
Gotcha.
To the point where you're like, but like I don't give a fuck about this person. Like I don't like they don't like it feels too like manufactured almost to be like to fit in with that stuff sometimes. Where I go, no, I don't like kill like Adam. Then the next episode, I don't care.
Gotcha.
Like it doesn't. I could be wrong. We'll see. You know.
So yeah, to answer, do you have any final? Do you want to wrap up because you are the bigger fan of the two of us? You fell in love with these comics early on.
I sold all of them.
You gave them to me.
Oh, did you have them all?
I have them all.
Oh, I thought I sold them all.
I have them all, and I have read quite a few of them.
Good.
Yes.
I
did not pay you for them though.
I sold a ton of my comics.
So don't retroactively.
No. I sold a bunch of my. I thought I sold those ones. I did not.
So
I sold my entire Ultimates collection. Ultimate
did you?
Marvel. Yeah, whole thing. I don't need them anymore.
Yeah,
they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I got like $150 in credit at the local bookstore.
Yeah,
good for me. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
you had good. I'm glad you're reading it. So I'm happy I gave them to you. That's great. That's good.
So you fell in love with those books.
Yes, I did.
You obviously fell out of love with them at some point.
I did.
What was it like revisiting the show? And have your feelings changed? Have you softened a little bit? I'm curious where you're at right now with The Walking Dead as someone who, fell in love with it at one point.
Yeah, no, I was taken back to a special moment in time. There was a special moment in time with the comic and with the show. Different. I very much separate the two. So, I was taken back to both though. Like, so that was a time when I was like legitimately like popping into the comic book shops, the couple local ones I went to on a regular basis and like getting monthly issues. I miss those days. I can't afford it these days. It's just not. I don't do monthly. No.
I was doing it for a while, and it's
too much.
I'm the same. It's too much, and it's hard to do.
I can't keep up. I don't want to read 20 pages and be done. Like I'll read a trade. I'm good.
Bless the people who can, but yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love the format, but I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was back when I was doing that, and I just kind of discovered The Walking Dead. I loved zombie stuff, and I saw the black and white comic, and I went, I think I saw that in Wizard one week, or 1 month. I'm like, I should check that out. I bought issue blah, I don't know, 14, 15. I went, holy shit, this is awesome. And I went back and bought the trades. And I bought, you have now, I have 15 trades or 10 trades or 12 trades. I don't know, something like that. He got obsessed with it. And then the show was like that it was an event thing for me. It was like I invite everybody over and we're going to watch the whole thing. So it was a nice nostalgic feeling, a nice warm feeling. And that premiere still, I've mentioned, holds up. It's perfect. But the second Jeffrey Dean Morgan popped up on the screen, I was like, yeah, that's why I quit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not him. He's great. But I was like, yeah, I remember now. My sunrise and sunset with both the show and the comic, they begin with the beginning and they end with the Glenn stuff. It's just, I don't know what it was, but I was like, nah, I'm good. We're good. Like, I'm done. Like, I didn't like any other characters at that point. Like, they were all kind of despicable. So I was like, I don't watch things. I've stopped watching comedy shows because they made all the characters so unlikable that I was like, they're not funny anymore. Like, they're just like gross people. Always Sunny is another, like, I love Always Sunny. I know it's totally like a comedy and tongue in cheek, but like they were so gross that I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, so yeah. Me, the bastion of good
I gotcha, yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
But the pilot's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Pilot's
where you
great.
stand now. All right, that I think
I was reminded of my old feelings.
Yeah.
So they haven't changed.
Good.
Yeah. The Stormtrooper butts are really funny though. Check them out for that.
All right, so that was a lot of fun. I thought I had a lot of fun doing that,
it was
actually.
good.
What do you want to do next? I believe it's your pick. Putting you on the spot.
This was kind of my pick, Tim.
Was it?
My concept. Man, you're putting me on the spot.
We're not in the we've talked about we're going to do another summer series, I think is what.
Yeah, we're not there.
We need to talk. Yeah.
Yet.
That's going to be June, July, August, I think is probably.
Yeah, that's man. I used to have DVDs here. I don't.
You want to scroll want me to scroll through Tubi?
Sure. I'll scroll through my DVDs at the same time with Blu-rays.
Horrormovieyearbook at gmail.com. At AHM Yearbook on Twitter. I'm going to try to be a little more active, by the way, on Twitter and social media. Not like posting stuff, but responding to stuff. But we like emails. What's the other one? Check out our YouTube, Horror Movie Yearbook on YouTube. Some fun stuff on there.
Instagram, Facebook,
yes, Instagram, Facebook, the whole thing.
You want to watch?
I really wanted to watch
the Beauty and the Beast live action remake because that's.
I was really hoping that at this point Godzilla would be out. We could talk about that maybe someday. All right, Tubi is like
one of these days.
To be honest with you, it's kind of.
I'm going to get up for a second, and you're going to keep talking.
Tubi's it's getting harder and harder for me to nag. Oh, okay, I got to go to the Explore tab here, and then we're going to go to genres, and we are going to find horror somewhere here. Okay, there it is.
I have one idea.
Okay.
I have one idea.
Okay.
I don't know if we've done this though.
All right.
You have a better memory of our previous episodes. Have we done the guest? Have we done the guest? Because
what's the one we? No, you know what we did. We did Your Next.
We've not done the guest.
We have not done the guest.
We're doing the guest.
I'm totally down.
I haven't watched it in like 3 or 4 years, no more. And I love that movie, and I want to rewatch it. And I just saw Dan Stevens in the new Godzilla movie, and he's sweet. So yes,
and this is directed by Adam Wingard. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It is available for rent all over the place. So
yeah,
if you want to watch it,
excellent.
You can.
The
if
guest.
You haven't seen it. I love that.
It's
pick.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Stay safe. Stay safe.